Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special broadcast coming on a day when Election Commission has announced the dates for Karnataka polls. The press conference has just got over. Voting will take place on May 10th and counting will be on May 13th. So yes, the ball has got rolling and very little time on hand. It's a three-cornered contest, BJP versus Congress versus JDS. There are 224 assembly seats. And how are the odds stacked? And what are the issues in this election? How is 2023 different from the last election? All this and much more we'll be discussing on this special broadcast. And joining me are three veteran journalists. We have Dakshina Murthy, who's the managing editor of the Federal. Thank you, Dakshin, for joining. We have Vijay Grover, one of the very renowned faces of Karnataka. Thank you, Vijay, for joining. And we have Mr. A.M. Arun, who's also a contributor and a veteran journalist from Karnataka. Thank you, Arun, so much for joining on the Federal. And let me begin with Arun himself, that how do you really, the very fact that, people were expecting that Wayanad by-elections probably would also be announced, but thank God that they weren't announced. And we have got enough time now to discuss about Karnataka and not Wayanad. But given the fact that the kind of issues which are rolling out in 2023, what do you feel about the issues? Are the relevant issues being raised by the political parties? Arun.
It's a difficult election to call. It's difficult to identify any issue or any trend. What you have is a host of factors which are going against each other. It's pretty chaotic for now. There is one way of looking at the election is which are the major groups in the society, which party are they behind, and if you look at the major groups, Vakaligas, for example, and there's no surprise in that, and they seem to be behind JDS. They are the number 2 group. And if you look at Krubas, number 3, they seem to be behind the Congress. Muslims, I think, and they will go with the Congress. So with all these three, and there are no surprises. Okay, but if you come to 2 other groups which are very large, which are very influential, the Lingats and the Dalits. Okay. It's difficult to call how they'll be voting in this election. I think that's where the stacks are.
Okay. Let me come to you, Vijay, now. That there is a feeling that there is a heavy anti-incumbency against the present BJP government, and the kind of allegations which have been made against the Bomai government, that it's a 40% commission government. Where does this issue of corruption stand? Is it not a very potential issue which the people probably would vote on? And do people really perceive BJP as a corrupt government when you compare it with other political parties like Congress and JDS?
Neelu, if I were to put this election, this is an election which the people are going to face, but with no hope, I would say, as far as the common man is concerned, for the simple reason because there is a huge disconnect between what the voters expect from the next government and what the politicians and the political parties are offering to the people of the state at the moment. So while, caste consolidation, as Arun very rightly put, seems to be the only game that the political parties seem to be playing at the moment, trying to ensure that, they have blocks of castes with them who can vote them and, get them the number of seats that they're fighting for. But as far as the common man is concerned, certainly corruption is an issue, because the kind of sustained campaign that we saw in the last 6 months of, pay CAM or 40% commission by contractors allegations and all those kind of things, we've not seen any reassurance from any political party, because even though the Congress might try to, highlight the issue of corruption, but the fact is that with D.K. Shivkumar at the helm of affairs, who himself faces, ED and CBI inquiries, it's very difficult for the Congress to actually tap in on that issue at the moment. So clearly the voters were now worried, because given in the IT city Bangalore, where we're seeing job cuts becoming a very predominant issue, none of the political parties have actually even come out and given solutions to those kind of things. So that's where I said that, the kind of campaign that we were expecting to take off, even when the Prime Minister made these worldwide tours and Amit Shah was here strategizing, that there would be some hope for the youth, some hope for the middle class that would be offered. But till now, nothing seems to, it may become a part of the manifesto, but nothing seems to be connecting the voters with the political parties. So clearly, caste consolidation seems to be the only game that the politicians are busy playing at the moment, and trying to ensure that the Vokaligas remain with the JDS, which the Congress is trying to snatch, or the BJP trying to retain the Lingayat vote bank by simple thing of we seeing the way Yediyurappa has been resurrected in these last 3-4 months. After giving the political exile that he faced from the BJP High Command. So clearly, these are the dynamics which are at work, but an election which I would say very bluntly lacks issues or lacks the kind of excitement that a voter would be attracted to go to the polling stations and.
Absolutely. But Dakshin, what I want to ask you is this not a worrying trend for democracy? When issues don't matter to the people, political parties try and do all sorts of social engineering to allure them. And we would be seeing lots in the coming days when the campaign builds up. But in today's press conference, Rajiv Kumar, in fact, was asked a question about urban apathy. And he said that, thank God that, it's become a part of the political discourse. But when we talk about urban apathy, why should we not discuss about the apathy towards issues like inflation, price rise, job cuts, serious issues like, the IT companies shifting their base from Bangalore to Hyderabad? That's, again, another big issue. But people just don't seem to be moved by these issues. Where is the undercurrent? I mean, why is there this apathy towards serious issues?
I mean, I wouldn't call it apathy. It's more the perception of the government. For instance, let's take a simple thing like stability, the stability of a government. You'll be surprised that Karnataka has in recent years has got the reputation of having chief ministers who are dropped and replaced at the drop of a hat, right? So now this perception is not entirely true, because if you take, say, from 2006 onwards, there have been coalition governments. You had between 2006 to 2008, you have Dharam Singh, and 2008 you had Kumaraswamy coming in, and then 2004 to 2006 was Dharam Singh. 2006 onwards it was Kumaraswamy. Then you had Yediyurappa, who was there for a short while, and then post that you had elections in which Yediyurappa came back to power. Then there were 3 chief ministers. That was Yediyurappa, and then Sadanand Gowda and Jagdish Shettar. Now, the funny part is the most stable government that has happened in the last these many years is actually that of the Congress. Because from 2013 to 2018, there was one chief minister, Siddaramaiah, and there was one government. There was absolutely, it was completely stable. Then again, post 2013, had a similar, 2013 to 18 was Siddaramaiah, and 2018, you had a coalition government that was again replaced by a BJP government, through the back door. So the point here is that there has been stability, and all the things that you ask, the factors that you ask, are directly related to stability. Only when you have a state that is stable, where there is a sense of peace, will other things work, like business, like investments coming in. There is not too much of a distraction. There is no that kind of an insecurity about who is in power. Will the chief minister remain? Will the chief minister go? All these things are directly related to stability. And you find that stability there in Karnataka between 2013 to 2018. And post 2018, there has been massive confusion. There is the BJP has been a divided house. There have been all kinds of factors. So, I mean, obviously, it is going to play a role in the other things. It's not, I wouldn't call it citizen apathy. The citizen is just watching helplessly. The citizen really has no choice. You elect somebody, and then you sit back and watch the, all the tamasha that's going on, unfortunately, to the disadvantage of the state.
Right. But Arun, if I may come to you, in the last election, BJP did have numbers, and and then we saw what all happened, and how poaching of MLAs took place. And so when you talk about stability, the point which Dakshin was making, How would you hold the parties responsible? Would you say that BJP is the only party behind the poaching? It buys MLAs, and I'm using the word quote unquote allegedly. It buys and MLAs. It destabilizes the government. All allegations which have come for BJP in the coming years, and a kind of a pattern which we've seen in various states. But when it comes to stability in Karnataka, do people believe that BJP is the only party which can give stability? Because if there is going to be a non-BJP government, BJP will try all tricks to destabilize that government. Is that feeling inherent in the people of Karnataka now, in their minds?
People in Karnataka associate BJP with instability. BJP has been such a strong force in the state. It has never come to power on its own. It has never been able to gain a majority on its own. It has always had to buy MLAs. Defections have existed before. Engineered defections have happened before. But the scale and the guarantee that it is going to happen. Okay. And that was missing in the missing before. I was talking to a politician yesterday, and he said there's a good chance that Siddaramaiah will become the chief minister. But before the Lok Sabha elections, D. Kumar will engineer the split and become a chief minister with the help of BJP. That's the kind of talk, that's the kind of impression which is going along. So, and the best performance of BJP, which took it close to the power, it was under the leadership of Yediyurappa. BJP in Karnataka is a single-handed achievement of Yediyurappa. So under his helm, the best BJP could do was to get close to the power. And now without him, and with him working against BJP, okay, I think we will see a shrunken BJP and more instability ahead.
Okay, so you're saying a shrunken BJP and more instability ahead. So Vijay, yes. that brings me to the question that what is going to be JDS's role? Like JDS has been saying that it has tried to maintain an equidistance from BJP and the Congress, and if need be, they can join hands with either of the parties, depending on which party gets a majority. So are the chances strong that JDS will become the kingmaker for this Karnataka election?
Well, see, this is what the entire issue is. That, we are trying to say H.D. Kumaraswamy can make the kind of statement that he made yesterday, that, he's open to feelers or getting feelers from both the sides. Now, that is not the kind of, assurance that you give to a voter. The fact that, we are expecting, or, he's expecting that either Mamata Banerjee or Akhilesh Yadav will come and campaign for him, and he's got the tag of secular and he's trying to woo the Muslim voter. What is H.D. Kumaraswamy offering to his voters? That, it's okay if, the BJP has a better strength, I will join hands with them. Or if, the Congress has a better strength, I'll join hands with them. This is not what leadership is all about. So, while he may be trying to become the kingmaker or the king himself, but the fact is, this is not what the voters expect. This is not what is the clarity that the leader should offer. Certainly is not being offered. So this is the big question mark, as far as, he's not furthering his cause of his party. He's actually doing more damage to himself by making this kind of statements that, it's going to be a hung assembly. So clearly, this is something which has come as a, surprise and a shock to a lot of his loyalists. But one of the things is important is that, even as the numbers are pitched today, they don't look very clear. And, hung assembly may be a reality which H.D. Kumaraswamy might try to encash on. But for the moment, for the voters, it is not a healthy sign that, you see that already predictions of a hung assembly and, again, the stability that Dakshina Murthy was trying to, highlight, that the voters needs, or the investors in the state who create jobs, who create investment, create wealth for the state, will not be confident about, this kind of thing.
Right. So, Dakshin, another issue, of course, then, the parties look far away, as far as stability is concerned. We do not know how they're going to reach out to the voters, how they will convince that the voters that they should vote in large numbers for one particular party. But coming to the specific issue of scrapping the OBC quota for Muslims, which has been done recently by the BJP, and that's seen as some kind of a new social engineering in the political landscape of Karnataka, and people do fear that that model might get replicated nationwide. They could do it with other states as well, or maybe for 2024. How do you see this issue panning out, amongst the Vokaligas, the Lingayats, and the Muslims themselves?
The government came under a lot of pressure. The Bombay government has come under a lot of pressure from various communities for enhanced reservation, right? So the government was caught in a flap. Initially, they tried to take some percentage of votes from the EWS and give reservations. Then, they realized that that is not possible because the EWS is a completely different category altogether. So this was in a way, it was a surprise. At the same time, it is also not a surprise because what they have basically done by removing Muslims from the, from this 4% reservation, which has been denied to the Muslim. Number one, it is not given on the basis of religion. It is given on the basis of social and economic backwardness under the recommendation of two backward classes commission. And mind you, there are other religions also which are part of it. It is not just the Muslims who are part of it. And you have Jains, you have Christians, you have etc., Buddhists, etc., etc. So, and all of them have not been given reservations based on religion. So now the government is basically what it did is it has deprived the Muslims from this 2B, if I'm not mistaken, the 2B category reservation. And then now they are trying to make it appear as if they don't want to give it for religion. But effectively what it shows is that this is probably the last of the decisions which this government, the Bombay government, the BJP government has taken, which have really not kept the interests of the Muslim community in mind. You had the hijab controversy, then you have the halal controversy where there was a movement against the halal kind of cutting of meat. Then you had issues where Muslim shopkeepers were not allowed to be part of the temple fair, where historically they have been part of it. So what has happened is in its eagerness to come to power, this government, the BJP government, has really given a go-by to a sense of syncretism, which Karnataka was always known for. There was a sense of harmony. Of course, there are areas in Karnataka which have been known for communal riots and etc., etc. But by and large, Karnataka is not known for its communal polarization, which this government has managed to bring about. So this decision on reservation is probably the last in that series of decisions.
Right. But Arun, if I may come to you on this particular bit, that the often heard allegation against BJP is that, the minorities, especially the Muslims, they feel threatened. BJP does make the Muslims feel that, they are a second-class citizen in the country. All these allegations have often been made against BJP. Does this move not consolidate this allegation further against BJP? That, they are totally against the Muslims and they have no qualms, and they'll take the political umbrage of saying that, look, there are other communities also which have gone under the umbrella of the economically weaker sections.
Nobody can accuse BJP for not trying to polarize, right? That's the mainstay, and that's the strategy, and there's no surprise in that. And Dakshin said, there has been a series of efforts to do it. But I'm optimistic about this. I don't think Karnataka is Gujarat. And people who are trying to polarize, they live in specific pockets, and most of them are not really statewide vote pullers. The leaders should do it. Okay. BJP has pumped in a lot of resources, strategy. They've done a lot to vitiate the atmosphere. Even if you take the reservation, in Karnataka, I think it still has not become a Hindu versus Muslim issue. I'm taking away the reservation. Muslims are protesting. Even if you look at the Panchamasali leaders, one of the prominent leaders on the stage said that this was not justice. It was not justice to take the reservation from Muslims and give it to Lingayats. So I think the Hindutva agenda in Karnataka has limitations, and BJP may have already realized that it is on the outer edge of the limitation. And if you look at any leader who matters, okay, nobody has really come out to polarize the society.
No, but Arun, what is the kind of message which this scrapping of OBC quota for Muslims sends out? If you look at the nationwide fallout I'm talking about, what is the kind of message this particular move sends? Or do you think that this is just going to be restricted to Karnataka and beyond this, nobody will talk about it?
See, India is not one singular entity, and if you take issue and try to gauge the response in different states, I'm sure you'll get a variety of responses. But if you have the responses within Karnataka, okay, if you look at the hardcore BJP voters, I was looking at the social media response to this, and they were celebrating this. Okay, but that celebration was limited to the hardcore BJP voters. These people will vote for BJP what way. But for the other communities, they're not seeing it as a Hindu-Muslim agenda. And that's the best I can say. Even Muslims, I can differentiate between the larger Hindu society with whom they do business and the BJP group, which is targeting them.
No, but what happens? What happens when you give 2% reservation to the Vokaligas, 2% to the Lingayats? Will that not tantamount to appeasement? Of course, you've put Muslims in the economically weaker section group, but you're also appeasing the Vokaligas and the Lingayats at the same time. Will BJP not be accused of appeasement politics then?
Yes, that's what they're doing. The 2% reservation to Lingayats and Vokaligas, it is definitely an appeasement and to get the election benefits.
Yeah.
Who's denying it? Okay. So,
and is it not double standards? BJP keeps accusing other political parties that, they are on a Muslim appeasement drive. So what about BJP? Will BJP not be accused of the same?
What's new in that accusation? Double standards, hypocrisy. I'm sure all parties go through it, but BJP on these issues, it really lifts this into an art, double standards and hypocrisy. So, and these moves are so transparent. I think people see through them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my impression.
Okay, let me go to Dakshin. That it's very clear from what Arun is saying that, BJP has developed a thick skin. It doesn't make a difference whether you put innumerable allegations of, appeasement or whatever you say, everything is fine by BJP. So is this happening because of this one predominant force in BJP, and that is Modi and Modi alone? So does that persona becomes predominant in this Karnataka elections also? And BJP is over and overconfident only because of the Modi magic?
You're right, because as far as the BJP is concerned, it attempts at all this changing of reservations at this last minute and giving people this, that. It's not as simple as it seems, because it is a sign of desperation.
Right.
Because if you take the BJP, it came to power in 2019, I think July, if I'm not mistaken. We are now in 2023. In 4 years, what is it that they can show? What is it that they have done? You just find a lot of discord, socially, you have a lot of controversies, you have corruption charges. And then you, half the time, you're not sure who the real chief minister is, who is the puppet. It's been completely actually chaotic, right? And you're right. The BJP also feels that these things shouldn't matter to the voter, because they imagine that the voter will look at Modi and vote them. But then if you look at the past track record, when assembly elections are concerned, Modi has not been able to play the same role that he has played as far as the parliament elections are concerned. Right. So if they are depending on Modi to salvage their situation, well, it's a tough call. I mean, that's how I would see it.
No, but when you compare Modi's persona, and then when you compare it with people like Siddaramaiah, when they are also in their own ways trying and alluring people, they are trying to put across a narrative. Can we say in context with Karnataka that Modi is not the predominant figure, but apparently people would take Siddaramaiah more seriously when it comes to promises?
Yeah. I mean, the reason is very simple. The reason is very practical. If you look at Siddaramaiah and he makes certain promises, he says he's going to do something, whatever he says. Tomorrow, there is a chance that he will be the chief minister. But if Modi gives the same promises, Modi is not going to become the chief minister of Karnataka. He's a prime minister. So, I mean, it's a big difference. It's a huge difference. This is not an election. This is not an election for the Lok Sabha. It's an election for assembly.
Absolutely. So let me take the last comment from Arun. Arun, what do you think will the overall picture in Karnataka will be this time? So are we heading towards a hung assembly, or can we have some decisive verdict coming our way?
Very hard to tell.
Okay.
I think BJP will shrink, but not by a large margin. They will come down a bit. Congress will go up a bit. Okay. But unless all of us are underestimating the voter who may actually deliver a decisive verdict. So.
Right. Okay. So I would say the cornerstone of stability probably is not seen in this election. If Congress will come up a bit, BJP will do better, but not by those numbers. So, of course, the picture doesn't look very clear at this point of time, but interesting times ahead to see and watch out, especially the campaign part when the campaign starts building. Remember that Rahul Gandhi was disqualified in 2019 for his speech he made in Kolar in Karnataka, where he said that, he categorized the Neelu Modi and the other Modi, and then that's what has brought in his disqualification. So one will have to wait and see whether there is any kind of a barrier which is practiced by the political leaders and the leaders who will be in the campaign. Will they control their tongues? That's the biggest question. We'll have to wait and watch to see how it unfolds. Thank you so much, Arun. Thank you so much, Dakshin, for joining. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching us live: share this video as much as you can, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned to the Federal. Thank you. Thank you, Dakshin. Thank you.